The information that will be shared in this video, it's my understanding, my practice, but more important, my experience. So don't take anything that is going to be said here as the absolute truth. If you resonate with anything that is being said, you can put it into practice and let your experience determine the validity of what is being shared here. Having said that, enjoy this video. Hello, welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I title or call it The Illusion of Time. This is a very easy one to explain because we believe in the concept of time, but we never question it. So now we're gonna look into it to see that time is actually an illusion and it doesn't exist. First of all, time can only be measured by a distance. See, distance is what is actually measured and we call it time. But in reality, there is no distance in time, and you'll see why. So let's use this, first of all, the distance in terms of length, okay? Right now in this measuring tape, I have, 10 inches or 25.5 centimeters, whatever. The distance can be measured only because there is a beginning and there's an end, you see? So because there's a beginning and there's an end, simultaneously, since I can see both, I can measure the distance, you see? And in this case, the distance is the length. That's what we're measuring, the length. So if I only had the beginning but no end, then I could not measure distance. It'll be infinite, right? But because we have an end, now the distance can be measured, okay? Now let's look at the concept of time. In order for time to actually exist, we should be able to measure the distance between two experiences. You see? The thing is that there's never such thing as two experiences simultaneously. There's only one experience all the time, which is the ever-present experience, the present moment. This is the only experience that there is. So now, how are we tricked into believing in the concept of time? Well, let's say yesterday, whatever might have happened yesterday or last week, it doesn't matter. Let's say yesterday you were with a friend. So the mind says, yesterday is one end of the distance and the present moment experience is the other end of that distance, and that's how it fabricates the illusion of time. But in reality, yesterday does not exist as an experience. Yesterday is a thought in the mind that is taking place right now. So, the only thing that is real, that is true, within the context of the illusion, because in the end none of this is even real, it's an appearance, but within the context of this apparent illusion, the only thing that exists, quote unquote, is the present moment experience. And that's it, there's nothing else. If I go to the mind, to a memory that is telling me of something that might have happened yesterday, that memory is taking place in the present moment experience. So technically speaking, the distance would be between the present moment experience and a thought that is taking place in the present moment experience. So the distance would be between now and now. And because there's only now, there's no distance, therefore there is no time. Now, you may even throw a curveball, so to speak. You may say, yeah, but in 2 weeks I have to catch a flight. That is future, that is time. Well, let's look at it. First thing, all that there is the ever-present moment experience, and that's it. There's no future, there's no past. That is just imagination. But how do we function if we are supposed to take a flight in 2 weeks? Well, first let's begin with noticing that the sequence of events is a sequence of thoughts that are taking place in the present moment. So, the idea of a flight in the future doesn't exist. It's just a possibility. However, how did the idea come about? Well, it could be that as I am walking and I see a sign that says, in 2 weeks there's a flight to Germany for only $50. You see, that may trigger the desire of, hey, you know what? I would like to go to Germany in 2 weeks and I would like to take advantage of that. But you see, in the present moment is when the sign was seen. In the present moment is when the idea of catching the flight appears in the mind. But the future doesn't exist. We don't even know if we're going to catch the flight. However, in the present moment experience, I do notice that the idea, the thought about, let me get online and book that flight. So I find myself in the present moment booking that flight. But I cannot measure the present moment and 2 weeks. All I know is that what is happening in the ever present moment experience is whatever is happening. And in this case is, okay, I'm finding myself booking a flight. That doesn't mean that that's going to happen. It's a possibility, however. But all that there is the present moment experience as the flight is being booked. Then I received an email that says, your flight has been booked. That email is happening in the present moment experience, which is the only experience that there is. No time has lapsed in between, because now the mind says, yeah, but a moment ago I saw the sign, but the moment ago is a thought in the present moment, and the only thing that we have is the present moment experience. So we are always dealing with the present moment experience where time doesn't exist. Now, the present moment experience is all that there is. And then, in due time, let's say 2 weeks pass, but in reality, nothing has passed. It's just the present moment experience always, you see. Then, along the line, another thought will come along, and it is, I have to get a couple of bags, and then suitcases was what I mean. And along the line, you see, I find myself finding out what kind of clothing do I need for the trip. But you see, everything is happening in the present moment experience. And it's not something that I'm choosing to happen. It's what is naturally, organically is happen, because remember, every action is preceded by a thought. And I strongly suggest you watch the second video, which is Do We Have Free Will? Because that's how I explain in detail why we are not the doers. So I don't want to go into all of that in this video. Let's stick with the concept of time. So as the present moment experience just unfolds, right? This is all that there is. And if the quote-unquote time comes where I need to be on that flight, then in that moment I will find myself sitting on that flight, and the mind will say, but 2 weeks ago the idea of flying to Germany happened, but 2 weeks ago is not time is not an experience, is a thought. You see, so what the mind does to believe in the concept of time is that uses thought and try to link the thought with the present moment experience, and that's how we begin to believe in the idea or the concept of time. But in reality, time does not exist, because all that there is the ever-present moment experience, which is the only one that there is. And for time to really exist, they have to be able to be measured by the distance between two experiences, and there's no such thing as two experiences, only the present moment experience. That's why time is an illusion, you see. And once again, some people may say, but how do I function in the world? I need to make plans, or I need to do this or that. Is because we still haven't got the fact that I don't make decisions. Decisions are made through the instrument called me, and they are happening constantly as a consequence of the thoughts that appears. And the thoughts that appear are not something that I choose. They appeared, and I find myself acting or not accordingly. And this is very simple. This is very simple to see if we're willing to do the investigation. So let me ask you a question. And this, I asked the question before in the video that I told you, but let's just review it over here. Can you tell me what is the next thought you're gonna have? See? If you don't know what is the next thought you're gonna have, you cannot say you're in charge of your life. You see life unfolding. And how life unfolds? Well, first the thought appears, and then I find myself acting accordingly, not because of a decision that I have made, but because of the decision that is being made through the instrument according to its conditioning. See? The same thought may appear for you and for me, knowing that you and I are the same energy path, we're made out of the same field, but anyhow, the same thought appears to you, the same for you and to me. If your conditioning is more in line with that thought, you may find yourself saying yes and acting accordingly. If my conditioning is not in line with that thought, I might find myself saying no and I act accordingly. But I didn't say no, and you didn't say yes. It's just basically the naturalness of the movement that happens through each of us according to the conditioning, according to the script that we're supposed to live. But once again, this is very simple. Let's go back to the concept of time. Life seems to be happening through the instrument, and everything is taking place in the present moment, the only one that there is. And because there is no such thing as an other moment simultaneously with the present moment, let's say, there's no such thing as two moments, two experiences for the same individual, of course, two experiences happening simultaneously. There is no distance to measure. Consequently, there is no time. Well, hope you enjoyed this video, and now I close the video reminding that may the peace permeate the mind so that love can be extended.